I see. Okay, so whoever you are, a couple of things I understand now have happened. You've been able to lean on somebody that qualifies for one of those nice congressional or senatorial mental health packages, which I understand got set up like late 2017, which is basically you find somebody else and you get to take their life and swap it out with yours because you just can't handle the stress of yours. And so you work their credit while they're in isolation somewhere being expropriated so that it can actually underwrite what you're doing. And you may not even need to actually be elected to office because there were people that were involved in other people's so called electoral campaigns who were doing this to me the whole year of 2020 that I was actually able to track, which I wasn't able to do in 2018 because I was on the street. It was completely different context, right? And probably the same kind of nexus of people that were actually effectuating it, right? Okay. So you probably got one of those, and you may or may not be at a particular level of responsibility. And I have a feeling what you got is you got the five spot on the 10 grand, didn't you? You got something and you were hoping to be availed of as a combination of my patient notes, right? When they were doing that particular kind of weapons paradigm based out of San Francisco. And I've seen them. And then the question becomes, well, did you get the ones they provided you? Or did you get the ones that somebody stole from me in downtown Dallas after I added my notes, right? See, this is going to get very kind of sketchy here because somebody stole that. And somebody in Dallas actually has my review of my own patient notes, which includes my criticisms and my refutation. So if they created a product line based upon my original patient notes, okay, and they try to distribute it through whoever it is, maybe they're saying it's a biomed product. Well, I already found the brochure that Raytheon put out while I was being processed through PES in San Francisco, wherein they were actually doing a demonstration of directed energy weapons in Dallas at the same time. So chances are you've got somebody in the actual weapons sector, including potentially with Raytheon or with Raytheon stock options, including ones that have Bennett's name on it. So you've got a whole list of stuff, right? And if you're working in conspiracy with the Supreme Court of Texas to do all those deals they hustled on that so-called lawyer who got disbarred, and maybe you're trying to get some leverage on the Israeli market right now. I mean, you might be in a very difficult situation if you're not able to clarify. Do you have the original patient notes with all that they set up on the product line they created in San Francisco? Did you ever even know that people in Dallas got my responses? See, if it was a legal proceeding where we were actually addressing Medicare fraud or kidnapping, right? And then you saw how I responded upon the first time I saw those patient notes and what they said, which speaks to state of mind. And by the way, you have to understand, I had been homeless and on the streets for several years. And I had to do that at night at a public park. It's pretty cold, by the way, right? So you would have a very different perspective, including environmental factors, including if you're one of those people with one of those high level skill sets where maybe you have some capacity to actually, I don't know, avail yourself of those notes that I put on what would have been my proprietary techniques concerning my own kind of inspection, including tactile memory and the capacity to actually have limbic resonance with a particular lineage of people. So you getting, for instance, patient notes that are intentionally coded with misrepresentations that have been put into a particular kind of timeline with a attendant benchmarking strategy or have been put into some sort of potential product line based upon the implications and whatever is supposed to be inherent in that, and then you get provided with that specific kind of report or whatever the formal presentation is that's already been copyrighted and or potentially even patented with certain terms of use associated with them, and they hand that to you, or even if they give you the electronic record and you engage with it, it's going to be a very specific lineage and a very specific resonance and capability, by the way. That if somehow you're one of those people that actually gets your hands on the paper copies, paper version in the official envelope I reviewed with my handwritten notes, right? So, I mean, once you make that distinction, you might have a little bit of I don't know, a better vantage point. But just so you know, you got to understand there's already a first claim on this, right? So the chances are, even if you continue to do this, somebody else is going to try to lean on you. Because in San Francisco, in Houston, I was somehow supposed to be providing some sort of, I don't know, what is it? Product development assistance or maybe trauma counseling to the Saudi crown prince's family members that were interred in that hotel lobby. While he was doing the same thing to them, they tried to do to me the year before, right? Those are completely different patient notes. But I have a feeling that they believe that because they had some exclusive claim to that, that they were hoping to distribute with and in connection through the whole Saudi royal family situation, chances are they probably are more in line with getting what was stolen from me downtown. So you're kind of screwed either way, right? Because if they haven't disclosed this, then whatever you are hoping to accomplish, it's going to have a very, very difficult time moving forward, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I know. It's especially going to have a very difficult time moving forward if that information you were trying to put out about the Barbara option, man, that's really screwed up, huh? I know. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. Go ahead, respond. Maybe you've got your bases covered. Maybe you have both. Maybe both groups were like, we're totally screwed because we screwed the wrong fucking woman and neither of us can do anything with what we got without her. Yeah, I have a feeling that might be the situation, but that might also just be conjecture. I'm not really sure.